question. Doug, as a county commissioner, and Henry and Tom as commission watchers, you know the importance of having an advocate in Washington for our district who can do two things: get things done and also know the local issues. I'd like to know who you think would be the most effective candidate in the District 18 congressional race. Start with you, Tom.
We're talking about the West.
You can choose from either party, but the field of five.
Okay. I am remaining neutral on that process, mainly because the way I feel right now, they're Republicans, and I have a very, very strong conviction about selecting people during primaries. I don't think it's the right thing to do. For anyone to advocate that you want to choose someone during a primary for years we have not done that. We stepped away from approving or announcing approval of a candidate in a primary, and I don't believe it's the right thing to do, and I still don't. I believe that political parties are held to state action, which means they are state actors, meaning basically that they are an appendage of the government, and they need to stay out of primaries until where it's more appropriate, the general election. Stay out of primary endorsement until the general election.
Just to be clear, you think the REC should have waited to endorse the Martin County REC?
I believe that, yes, I believe that we should hold back on endorsing anyone. However, if they choose to do so, that's their choice. If they follow their rules, that's their choice. But we have stayed away from that for years. And and of course, I'm sure there's opinions for and opinions against.
Okay, let me just press you on this, because you just were critical of some negative campaigning locally by the Future PAC. You can make an argument that we've seen some negative campaigning, certainly negative statements from Alan West's campaign, yet you want to remain neutral in this race.
Correct.
You don't take issue with that kind of campaigning at that level, or do you see them as two different things?
Well, I look at it at a higher level. I said during primaries, people have a right to, to bring forward the things that they want to bring forward and deal with it. However, to have one of our parties, regardless of the party, to come forth and endorse, I don't think it's the right thing to do. However, if they choose to do so, it's what they want to do.
Okay, thanks. Doug, who's your guy?
I, like you, Eve, I want someone in Congress that's representing our district to be effective, to work hard for our district, to know our issues. I think more than anything else in the world, as an elected official, when I go to DC, I expect to meet with our representatives that represent us here locally, but also at the state, that are concerned about our position and work hard at it. And whoever that person is to be, I fully expect to have a working relationship with them, as I've had with our congressional delegation and our senators in DC for years. I don't want to get into the business of endorsing me personally at this point. I don't believe in that. I don't pick favorites in the sheriff's race. I don't pick favorites in the state race, the state reps race. I don't believe that that's my role. I don't believe in doing that. So by me saying today, if I were to say candidate X, Y, or Z is my choice, would be endorsing, and I don't believe in doing that. Do I believe that what's being said and how it's being approached? I would much prefer our candidates out there focusing on the issues and focusing on how they're going to represent us in DC in this district. What are the issues that are important to us that we need federal assistance with? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear from them specifically, what do you think about Everglades restoration and CERT? How are you going to help us in that effort? What are we going to do about beach restoration and the funds? And clearly this recent issue that we have with the Corps thinks that we owe them $1.3 million from 30 years ago. What role will you actively take in working with us to resolve that conflict? Inland management. What role will you play in that and understanding how we deal with that? I think that's critically important, and I think for me as an elected official and how I run my campaigns, that's how I wish all the candidates would operate and conduct their campaigns.
Real quickly, do you sit on the REC in Martin County?
Yes. No, I do not.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. Henry, you do, I believe. I saw on your bio sheet.
I'm a member of the REC, have been this year.
Okay.
I don't want to use this opportunity as a bully pulpit to proselytize for a congressional candidate.
Sure, but I think there's some
well, I can
interaction
tell you
there.
this in a philosophical sense. When you send a congressman to Washington, D.C., their principal mission, I think at this juncture in the nation's perspective, is dealing with national issues. And in my case, I am a fiscal conservative, and that is regardless of whether I'm looking at Washington, D.C., Tallahassee, Martin County, or some regional government. So I want a fiscally conservative champion, and I will work with whomever we elect from whichever party they are elected. But I am a fiscal conservative. I have no social agenda, and I don't think that should be a part of government at any level. And so I'm not weighing in on that. But I have to say that Alan West, from the point of view of small government as a philosophy, smaller government as a philosophy, and fiscal conservatism, I identify with those values. And I would hope that some of the other candidates in that race share them as well.
In your position on the REC, did you vote to endorse West?
Since
you listed it on your bio
a vote is the most sacred and private thing that we have. So let me just tell you that the REC voted overwhelmingly to endorse Mr. West. And I certainly have a lot of regard for the fine job that Sheriff Crowder has done here in Martin County, because he's done a very good job for quite a long time.
Gentlemen, we are out of time.